What about ye? This one here's a wee bit of my own stuff. This is my own Jeep. It's a Toyota Hilux Surf, and it's 1995, a Generation 2, and it's 25 years old. I use this car every day, and I've put some amount of miles on it. It is the best car that I've ever owned. And look at that view. That's Belfast Lough. So this thing has given me complete reliable service. I well maintain it, of course, and gets oil changes when it needs it and all that there, but it's just developed a fairly major fault. I have owned this car since 2007. February 2007 I bought it. It's a Japanese import. I bought it off the guy in the south of England, and I drove it up from the southern coast. I came into Southampton on a boat from Japan, and I bought it and off him. Flew over to Gatwick. He picked me up at Gatwick Airport. I drove it then right up to then you got the ferry from Stranraer over to Larne, which is just up the coast there a wee bit, and brought over Northern Ireland. So I've run it for 13 years, and it's been flawless. It is starting to show its age a wee bit here and there, you know, but that's cosmetic. This thing is brilliant. I cannot replace this car because, you know, modern cars just aren't built like this anymore, and people love the wee motif in the back there. Anyway, we'll have a wee look inside it. I'll show you. So I've run it for 13 years, used more or less every day. Well maintained, of course. It gets 2 oil changes a year and all that there. So, well, you can see out there, there's 367,310, but that is in kilometres. Now this here is in miles per hour. That has been converted for the UK, but this is still in kilometres. So that's kilometres there. So there's 100,000 kilometres equals 62,000 miles. And what we're going for is that, if we can get it out of the glare, is the distance to the moon. That's the average distance. 384,400 kilometres is the average distance from Earth to the moon. So we're getting close. We're getting close by. However, it's developed a fairly major fault with a gearbox. Automatic gearbox, and what is happening is it's taken ages to go into from first to second, ages to get into third, revving ahead of itself, and it doesn't go into fourth at all. So when I'm driving on the motorway or the open road, this rev counter is way up here somewhere, and I'm only doing about 50 or 60 miles an hour. So it's, you can watch this needle here going down. But these cars here, this car is well used. This is a worker. This is a workhorse, and it's never cleaned out. These things have a reputation. They are so good that all sorts of people use them, and they've been tried and tested famously on tape.
The Toyota Hilux pickup is one tough truck. As the BBC Auto Show Top Gear demonstrated.
Here it is!
Seemingly indestructible.
They're hard to miss. packed with ISIS fighters and heavy weapons. Toyota pickup trucks and SUVs are featured prominently in ISIS propaganda.
The Toyota Hilux, a truck of choice in war zones around the world, including by ISIS. Their propaganda videos show convoys.
Iraqi official tells CNN his government believes ISIS has acquired hundreds of Toyota vehicles in recent years.
The car brands available, and perhaps to its disappointment, Toyota has proven to be most popular with the jihadists.
We'll just take it for a wee run here and demonstrate to you what the problem is. So here we are on drive. We're just going to take off here. So I'll be in it in first gear and see how long it takes to change. It's about 2,500 revs. Wasn't too bad that time. We're in flat ground at the minute. So we're tooting along in second. We'll bring the speed up. We're in second. Still in second. And just touching 3,000 revs, we're into third. And we'll bring the speed up. We'll bring the speed up here. It's a 60 miles an hour road, so we're okay. We'll bring the speed up. And we're still in third. We're still in third. We're still in third. I'll have to slow it down because we're coming into a 40 zone. So if you're doing well, if I'm on a motorway, you know, it's doing about 3,500 revs on flat ground at 70 miles an hour. So it's just raving ahead of itself, and that's it. So it's not going into fourth gear, or in this car, it's known as overdrive, and that's what the problem is. As a result, then it's high revving and it's drinking the fuel. Okay. But we have a solution, albeit temporary. So the big truck's still motoring, can't stop her. So what I've done is I've disconnected the multi-plug at the gearbox that feeds the 3 solenoids from the control unit, which is a plug there. That is disconnected and taped up, just so that is actually unplugged. I converted the car into, well, effectively a manual. So I now control the shifting. So L here is first gear or low. Number 2 is now third. So really that number 2 is, it's just a second position. So number 2 position, but it's actually third gear. And D is fourth. So that means I can drive it on the open road and go on the motorways and stuff, because I can go into fourth and I just shift it myself then whenever, you know, the revs demand it. And so I've no second gear, but that's no bar. So we'll give that a go here. That's us in low there. I'll get my hand out of the way. And here we go. So we've got to about 2,000 revs. We're in flat ground. Bumping into second, or number 2 position, I should say. I'm gonna rattle along, which is in 3rd gear. It's 3rd gear, number 2 position in 3rd gear. I'm gonna biff it into 4th, which is overdrive in this car. So 4th gear is actually overdrive. Okay. But we're all about repairing stuff on this channel. We're not going to leave it like that. I want this fixed. I want it back to the way it was. And that's what we do. So we'll get around to the shop. See what we can do. Well, that's her in the shop, and I've managed to get myself the hold of some service information, and this is for the A343H automatic gearbox. And I have an A343F, very similar, but you know, not exact. But this is the best I can get, and I think it's 100. Well, don't know how many pages that is. And yeah, well, let's have a wee look here. Delayed 1st to 2nd, 2nd to 3rd, or 3rd to overdrive. Upshift to downshift, from overdrive to 3rd, shift back to delayed. Electronic control, valve body, or solenoid. Inspect, inspect, inspect. That's our symptoms. So, where do we start?